Okay, hello, hello. So, we are super excited about today. First, I want to welcome the HVU family for joining us. We are, we have a very special guest, Kathleen Erickson, and oh my goodness, you are going to really be fascinated when she begins to talk about this product that puts light into your body and does amazing things. So, Diane, thank you for joining us.
Hi,
I'm
thank you
just
for
so grateful
having
you're
me.
here.
It's all
My
good.
my mind is working kind of on the slow side today, and it's recuperating. Are you heading downstairs, kid? No. Okay, and and so I'm grateful for Diane's sharpness. She will. She's got a lot of questions. She's a great questioner. But Kathleen, so you want to introduce yourself to our family?
Yes, I'd be very happy to. And first of all, I want you to realize that I have a very nice background in holistic energy work as well as some nutritional background and things like that. But I do want to make it known that I am not a doctor. And the things that we're talking about, we cannot claim to be in that field with the medical field and so forth. But we have a product here that is very viable, and we're very happy to share it with you. So, a little bit about myself. I am a mother of 8 children, and I'm a grandmother of 31. And when you're a mother, you always want to be able to take care of your kids. And I was very fortunate with my third child that at 2 years old, I had a pediatrician tell me that this child needed something different than what he could provide. And he said, I want you to go do some mega dosing with some vitamins and find an allergist to help him. And that set me out on an alternative path. And as curious as I was and as determined as I was to help my children have the best health in growing up, I began to study the alternative opportunities in kinesiology and iridology and reflexology, and there was just a whole myriad of things opening up. And I know I was guided by the spirit as one thing came, it helped our family, and another thing came, and another thing came. And so um, I was able to help my family and children, and came to a point where we had children not only with hyperactivity and the allergy situation that was first introduced this to me. We had children and a husband who were, I took them to what's called a microscopist who looks at live and dry blood under a microscope. And it
Right.
showed patterns of disorganization in the red and white blood cells, which led to the pattern of a red blood cell taking the shape of a sickle cell.
Oh,
And so that led me into learning how to be a microscopist myself, because how else could our family heal if we couldn't watch the patterns? And so my husband did go to a clinic, and they were able to identify that there were sickle cells, but he was never fully diagnosed. And as we followed a protocol in health and wellness, and changed our patterns of living, thinking, and eating, so did the red blood cells. And then my daughter at 5 had diagnosed with another form of disorder that came back when she was on the soccer field. And we saw those patterns, and all of those changed. And her health continued, and she went on and played college soccer and everything. So my path has been in that direction. And as you know, when you have a large family and kids have their experiences, we all know we have trauma and emotional stress, which led me to alternative in energy wellness. I've studied in many systems, studied with Anissam Harriman, a physicist with the Resonance Foundation, and Bruce Lipton and Greg Braden and so forth. So
oh
I have a
wow.
very wide, eclectic background. And so when I was introduced to the negative ions and the plant DNA that these ions are infused to, and I knew right then that this was a company that I would, and a product that would change again another stage of my life, and it has. So
That's
that's
beautiful.
kind of my background.
Wow.
Thank you. Diane, you had a question, but also you wanted to make a statement?
Oh, yeah, I just wanted to let everybody know that for the new people here, we're not doctors and we're not financial advisors. And what we share here is our opinions and our experiences. So, take that take that to heart. So what we're talking about here is naturopathic, energetic, frequency, herbs, quantum healing. Yes, quantum healing. I mean, we're going into the quantum here just like everything else is. So I'm going to go ahead and let Kathleen give us a rundown. Now, do you have some of those on your table over there, Candy?
Mm-hmm. I do. Yes.
Right there in the middle, the red, the blue.
Yes, and what I did was, so it makes it easy for me to learn because I'm new at this product, is I wrote down what the boxes are so that it would be easy
Yep.
for me to, and then there's this one. Antiviral, bacterial,
Zinc
C,
D3.
and zinc. Yes. And so it makes it really easy for me to grab what I need. And then here's the pamphlet that helps me further. It's really, really in depth.
And just out of curiosity, Candy, because everybody is new to this, and I'm still waiting for mine to arrive. How do they taste?
Oh, like candy. Starts with a C,
Awesome.
ends
I'm
with
so
an I.
excited. I'm telling you, I've taken Chinese herbs for well over 40 years, probably 50 years, and I'm telling you, I swear some of this stuff tasted like yak piss. If that's, if anybody knows what that tastes like, I really don't. But it's just like you're like, trying to get this stuff down just to feel better. I'm so happy it tastes good.
And my husband's the type of person that if it doesn't taste good, he will try it once and then he just balks at it. He just won't do it. So I gave him one of these and he was like, oh, So he's open to more. Yeah, very excited about that.
Yes. Yep. Children love this, adults love it, and even animals love it. So
Really?
And
tasty.
so let me just show you how they come. Can I do that?
Yes.
Oh, you know what? That's a bad one because it's white in color. So let's see.
I think all of yours are white in color. Just a moment.
Yep, that is too. I just took one that was a different color, didn't I?
No, it was a real piece of candy. No.
This one's a little different. There we go.
Oh, yeah. So they're just like a cough drop or something.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Lozenger.
Yeah. And then you just pop it right out. So it's very easy to travel with, to grab, to push out. Yeah. I'm
That's
super
awesome.
impressed.
Oh, I love that you're impressed with that. I'm super excited. I can't wait to get mine.
Me too.
I'm in for something. If it's gonna taste good and it's not good, oh, good Lord, woman, what are you got there?
Wow.
Well, that's my travel box. So I can share
Yes,
and have
it
mine
is.
on hand all the time.
That's so
So-
sweet that you share.
Yes.
That's super
And-
important though, so people could try it. Exactly.
So yeah, there they are, and different flavors, different colors. The coloring is all plant, the natural plant source also.
Oh, that's
So-
awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And they have the labels on the back of them. And yep.
So how do you, so the labels are on the back, and you've taken it long enough that you just remember what each one does.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So that'll come to each of us. I'm excited.
Yes, it will.
I'm super excited.
Now, there is just for the itinerary. There's a couple videos that you want to show us, but there's also a new product. Has that been released yet?
No, it hasn't. Mm-mm.
Okay.
So
When
that's, yes, that is coming on September 1st, but they are putting it in the back offices of the associates. So this, if someone is really interested in having that product, they can become an associate before or by August 31st with a $25 membership. And we suggest at least a $100 kit. It's called a detox kit with lozenge to support the liver and the intestinal and the organs in our solar plex area. So that when you do start PFT, which is a visceral fat burning lozenge, and when we have fat stored in our around our organs or in our gut and upper thighs and that extra fat, belly, whatever we want to call that, the brown fat, it's going to be filled with toxins and bacterials and microbes. And so we have found, even myself, I'm on the trial right now, and I'm experiencing losing the visceral fat and the waist trimming down and losing some weight with it as it goes. And but I'm experiencing my body, because I'm in tune with releasing those toxins. And so I am taking even extra lozenges myself to support that and to let the body continue to release and heal, release and regenerate, release and repair. And so that's what's going on with these plant DNA and negative ion lozenges. It's a continual communication with our cellular DNA, and which affects how our body repairs itself and then restores its function and then can regenerate. So it's a constant flow of in communication and systems changing and so forth.
That's what I was just going to ask. Is it something that's going to reconnect the communication of your cells to one another and basically go to that cell and say, you know what, this cell is housing some trash. We need to out with the trash. So when you first started doing this, I'm curious, how intense was the detoxification? How did you feel?
So it's not an intense process at all.
That's good.
Even if you were just
some hell.
Yeah, there are some very serious detox protocols that, when I first started in this with Bernard Jensen, he had some very serious detox protocols. In fact, his own communities you could go to be supported. And but these are very gentle. It's not a plant fiber, so it's not going to interfere with how the gut responds. And we know the gut has troubles, and our bodies will have reactions to plant fibers.
Yep.
So these are DNA, and DNA is absorbed through the mucosal membranes of our mouth into the bloodstream. And people who have been very allergic or anaphylactic shock could take these lozenges and they've not pulled out their EpiPens. So it's that effective, and yet not restricting how our body can manage it. And if you are taking other supplements, because of the electrons and the DNA ability to communicate, it will enhance what you're taking or what you can absorb through your gut. We don't absorb everything that comes through the gut, but it will enhance that. And eventually I found I was taking 20 or more drops a day, and now all I know is lozenges, but the supplements, the capsules, and so forth. And I'm down to 3 a day, just because my bones need a little extra support. And so that's it. Everything else has fallen away.
How long have you been on these supplements?
For 3 years now.
For 3 years now. So, I've done some pretty intense liver detoxes, and trust me, I was like getting ready to puke and every other thing that's going to happen. And I'm telling you, I felt like crap for 3 days. And this is going to do that very similar level detox, but not.
Well, yes and yes and no, because
Okay.
that's a dumping that's all happening at once,
Right.
and that's why it becomes a crisis, right?
Right.
So
Right.
so think of this as plant DNA has the same components of our DNA. So the the actual adenine and so forth, those combinations of that base structure of the rungs of the ladder. The plant has those. They're bringing in the phytonutrients and the phytochemistry of that blueprint. They're bringing in the catalyses of that blueprint to communicate in our body. So with that, we have plant DNA. We have a negative ions that are infused as the DNA is put through a chamber. The electrical strikes that Nikola Tesla used in his studies, and also setting up electron ballrooms, you might say, in the basement of his hotel. He'd invite people in, and they come and find dress, and he would set that room up with full of electrons through those charges. Well, this technology does the same thing with the plant's DNA.
Internally, how beautiful.
Yeah. So our body's going to respond to the electron charges, the blueprint, the communications of the DNA, the plant DNA, and so it'll affect our DNA, but it also will affect how the body purifies itself, you might say, because the negative ions are electrons, free radicals are positive protons that are causing the chaos
attached to it,
and so they neutralize. They will neutralize, and that reduces the free radicals anywhere in the body, which automatically reduces inflammation anywhere in the body. So whether it's, yeah, go ahead.
That would be one of the reasons also, I would guess, I'm just guessing, that the detox would be, it wouldn't be so traumatic.
Correct. Because you have this neutralization going on.
Right.
You have this communication that's going to create healthier DNA. It'll also create the reproductive cycle of the DNA and the messenger DNA. And so that's all healthy. That's all a healthy pattern now that's cycling. So you're getting healthy whole cells while your body's detoxing the toxins and the garbage.
And so is it actually repairing DNA that may have, I don't know if DNA mutates. I don't know any of that stuff, but it's, something's going wrong. And with all of these poisons and toxins that we get in our food and sprayed on us and put on us and all that other crap. Most people have no clue. Anything you put on your skin, 60% of it gets immediately into your bloodstream within moments.
Yes, that's true.
When you put on a lotion, read it. Read what's in it, for crying out loud. If there's something in there you don't know what it is, don't put it on. Use coconut oil. Sleep yourself. But now, so go ahead and expound on that. That's fascinating to me.
So if one of the resources I use to answer that question, since I'm not a medical doctor or wear the scientist hat in degree, right? Dr. Bruce Lipton wrote a book called Wisdom of the Cells. It's fascinating. Wow. He's the author of Biology of Belief. He was one of the first people from Stanford that was asked to be in the stem cell research, or our DNA research, and map out all the DNA, which he did. But he also realized in some of the experimentations they did that the cells, he had separated the DNA of a cell from the same person and put them in a dish, kept one in Stanford and sent one to New York. And they traumatized Stanford, and New York instantly responded exactly the same way.
He's the one who did that?
Yeah, well, yes.
I've known about that for years. That fascinates me.
That's part of his research group that he was involved with at Stanford. And he realized that there was something more besides just this DNA structure and what the chemistry was communicating in our body. So he could not go any further in his research, so he left the university and he found a place that would support research. And his research led him into what and how that New York petri dish responded. And his first book was Biology of Belief. So he realized that this resonance of, and this is where Nassim Haramein comes in because of him working with Einstein's theories and his own with the quantum field. So he's connected the unified field of the expansive with the quantum field of the minute in measuring the what you call the vacuum or the point of singularity. And he's been able to show this resonance and this measurement of energy from the vacuum is the same as in the unified field of the universe, as well as in the quantum field of the boson-Higgs. And so, wow, is that amazing, because he's measured the energy source, the being exactly the same. We understand that there's this field of energy and information, and people relate it to light. It's beyond a radio frequency or the wave that we were taught in basic physics. It's an eminence, a resonance. It's a field, and that's what Dr. Bruce Lipton's talking about. In thought is a resonance and an eminence in itself, and that can move through. There's no boundary to how far it moves with the intensity. The Heart Math Institute has measured the intensity of the emotions of the heart. So hearts have more neural cells in them
than the brain.
Those intensities than the brain. So those intensities of the heart, I've learned how to heart talk more than I've learned to brain talk now. And so those frequencies go, their first, one of their experiments was in the heart math field was they were connected to SETI 1 and SETI 2 out around our Earth's field. And it was one of the things they were doing was measuring the electromagnetic fields of the Earth. And when 9/11 happened, those SETIs went off. The one closest to the towers in that space field responded at a peak, and 30 minutes later, the other one got its peak. And the reasoning they thought what was happening was because it took about 30 minutes after it hit the air for, the airwaves, the televisions and the broadcasting, it took about 30 minutes for people on the other side of the Earth or around the Earth to realize what had happened, and everyone was in shock or in prayer. But the emotion of the hearts were hyper expanded, and so they realized that it affected the Earth's magnetic field in a way that both of them spiked with the response of that experience. So the heart field does affect the Earth's electromagnetic field, is what they found, the emotions of the heart.
So in just, kind of putting this back into when you were talking about when something over here is happening, something is receiving it, whether they know it or not. Mm-hmm. So last Wednesday, I was live with Kidd Candi. We went on an hour late, right? So we went on at 6 o'clock on Wednesday. And I just all of a sudden started talking about people, if you have this at your workplace, make sure you do an active shooter class. Not that I'm an alarmist. I'm not an alarmist. If you don't have a workplace that that helps you understand about an active shooter scenario, find one online. Mm-hmm. This was happening as I was speaking down at Cook's Corner in Orange County. There was an active shooter. There was a ex-police officer that went cuckoo. Mm. And literally this was happening as I'm getting that hit and talking about it. Mm-hmm. So basically what you're saying is, that's just in this realm, but in the realm of science, what we're talking about here is massive.
Yes. And let's go back to Bruce Lipton again, because he's the one who starts exposing, along with other people who are like Louise Hayes and so forth, and their affirmations and how that changes. So words have frequencies, and Dr. Emoto showed that if you placed a word on water and froze it, it would show a picture also, either distorted crystallization or very beautiful symmetrical type of crystallization. But Bruce Lipton, yeah, I have it here. Thanks. Where did I put it?
No, yeah, Dr. Emoto's photographs, I have several of them in my house. And they also have like a card series, like a deck of cards that, and the book that goes with it. You know, it shows this beautiful water, and what they gave to it was hate, and it froze into mud splotches, and they took exact same sample of water, not that splotchy one, but the same exact sample from the exact same place, and they put the thought of love into it, and it literally formed crystals that looked like a heart.
Yes.
Stunning.
And people use that to purify waters, their lakes and so forth. Yeah, but they've used it in lakes and rivers and in communities that got together. So all of that's swimming around in our head now. Dr. Bruce Lipton wrote in Biology of Belief and then moved on to Wisdom of the Cells. And he talks about very in detail how the thoughts and the structure of thought and emotion actually changes the lining of our human cells. And he talks about all the layers of the lining and how they're affected. And once you get in through the layers, you actually have the inner cell, and part of that is the mitochondria. And that's where the DNA strand that we feel operates us is located, right? And so his book shows how the thought and emotions that we carry do affect that strand of DNA. So a lot of times people hear the DNA can never be changed. We're stuck with what we have. We've inherited. We're stuck. Well, because of this studies and what we've just roundabout talked about, I don't have that belief. I believe that we have the sources within us, our light source. Greg Braden talks about what DNA means in as you break the structure down and place it in the pattern of different languages in their numerology or in their language. And he comes to the point where it says that DNA, the letters DNA, stand for the God within us, the God source within us. Yes. So I believe that we have the source within us to change ourselves, to be changed, to live, and to live a life without disorder or disorganization within us, or that dis-ease. Yeah.
Right.
So,
that's fascinating.
And I personally, and that's why when I heard about the negative ions are the ones that really brought me into this, because plant DNA, I understood a blueprint, what blueprint patterns of DNA would bring us, what the potentials were. But without the charge, the energy charge that can connect to our life source and rebalance it by getting rid of an overabundance of protons that cause disorganization, that are part of the disorganization, I should say, it just opens up that field of communication. And that means, to me, it opens up our light fields, our God source within us. That was my logic.
So the God source within us is the mitochondria, right?
It's the DNA. And in language, if you go to Greg Braden, he has on YouTubes, and he talks about the words, what he learned from the Tibetan monks, and the word compassion and the frequency of being 0.01 megahertz or and it all ties in together. He loves to work with the Math Heart Institute because they're measuring the fields of the heart, and they teach how to come to that zero point 0.01 megahertz and bring your heart into that field and that rhythm. But yeah, so he went to different language and he broke it down in their language. And when it did break down, it translated back into the God source, those letters, DNA.
Wow.
So,
I love listening to him talk, and I find the way he looks at things and he goes at things and he comes at them. It's like he doesn't leave many rocks unturned. And I just love listening to him talk.
yes.
Kind of nice and calming, and he says it in such a way that everybody can absorb it.
Yes. Yes, he does.
That's awesome.
Yes.
So do you have something that you wanted to share with Candi and I and the family?
Well, I actually have the PowerPoint presentation that will show the boxes and we can talk about them. And then there's a video from the company itself that gives you a little bit broad view of the lozenges. You'll see them on the assembly line and talking about the negative ions a little bit and so forth. And then there's a few things like that I could show. If you
and how long are each one of them? Just out of curiosity, I'm just curious.
Well, it's 5 minutes for the company overview.
And does it give us some of the science, or does it?
Yeah, it gives you an overall, just kind of, yep, that's what we usually send to people, is that 5-minute video for them to see an overall.
Awesome. What do you think about that, Candi? Does that sound good?
Yeah, that sounds great. Let's dig in.
And then that how long is the one with the
well, the other one is Mary Esther Gilbert. She received the lozenges in 2017, and had her own clinic in California, Southern California, that she has a master's in, and I'm sorry I don't remember the title of her master's, but it's in nutritional and biology of plants. And so she's written a book with all the information of the potential of the plant DNA, the phytonutrients, the saccharides, and how they would respond in our also. So she has a very short video, again reinforcing the fact that these DNA lozenges do fit into the quantum field and have a light source energy that they will deliver to.
Wow.
So that's like a few seconds, less than a minute.
Oh, perfect.
I just clipped that one.
I'm super excited.
So, okay, so what I have to do is share the screen and then get to those slides. So it'll take just a second here.
Okay.
And Mary Esther Gilbert is the one that has a place in California. Is that the one you were?
She used to, but she doesn't anymore.
Okay.
She's retired and relocated in Scottsdale, Arizona. So here we go. Let me make this large so we don't have all this other background information here. And let's see, I used to have this on and we don't want to go from the beginning, but okay. So now, excuse me, we'll just go down real quick here. And that is, and we'll start this.
Cool.
Welcome to APL Go, where the future is now. We've all heard that necessity is the mother of all invention. The overfed and the undernourished society must stop. The timing has never been better to offer APL Go's one and only rapid DNA drops. Sophisticated, yet made simple. Created and backed by renowned European scientists, the goal was to create a highly concentrated, fast-acting nutrient experience at Mother Nature's table. Dynamically concentrated, rapid DNA drops create an instant gratification with, get this, 100% immediate absorption. Rapid DNA drops would be the opposite to overfed and undernourished. They are all natural, organic, and contain a rainbow of plant-based ingredients and colors. They are naturally sweetened with the benefits of molasses and the sweet essence of beets. Now let's get a quick scientific overview. Everyone wants to know the secret. How rapid DNA drops are made. Well, each proprietary drop is negatively charged through a very exclusive plant DNA extraction, and they can only be found at APL Go. This exclusive and patented technology is named Accumulate SA that conserves essential nutrient factors and sustains phytonutrients. This technology utilizes the plant DNA cell particles that provide cellular energy and communication. These botanical particles are active, they're tasteless, and 100% absorbable. Each rapid DNA drop has a carefully selected blended formula of fruits, plants, and herbs for cellular energy, recognition, and health. And if that weren't enough, these bioavailable nutrients are processed under a turbulent airflow of negatively charged particles. Now supercharged, the most biologically active substances are released from the plants. Then, coupled with the all-natural serum base, the temperatures drop to less than 80 degrees, and these supercharged plant extracts are infused with plant colorants and flavorings, rendering them 100% all-natural, 100% absorbable, and 1,000% tasty. Congratulations, APL Go, for proving that what the mind can believe, it can achieve. Maybe you've heard, but you're only as healthy as that which your body can assimilate and absorb. Supplement waste is lost in the billions and found in our sewage systems. A lot of hope and a lot of expensive urine. APL's rapid DNA drops are instant gratification because they're 100% instantly absorbed. The active agents enter the blood via mucosa. That is why APL rapid DNA drops have such an instant effect. Imagine roughly 80 different in-season plant-based nutrients delivered, pleasurable to the senses. Many experts believe that nutrients absorbed during peak season stay in the body's ecosystem until the season returns. This is what makes APL Go the one and only. So there you have it. APL Go's Rapid DNA Drops, a category creator led with vision, the negative ions, a rainbow of nature, proprietary intellectual property, technology, and cutting-edge manufacturing secrets. Maybe this is why there are nearly 30 certifications validating this brilliance made so simple. Halal, organic, kosher, gluten-free, non-GMO, and many more. APL Go's rapid DNA drops are convenient and are activated once placed in the mouth. One product, 15 experiences, aromatic flavors, and natural occurring colors. None more impressive than the award-winning GRW, named Immune Product of the Year.
Oh, wow.
That was impressive.
Yeah. And I got a question, but keep going.
Yes.
We want to do the next thing, the next one?
Did you write
Yes,
your question down?
Yes, I did.
Okay, awesome.
So I'm going to escape here, get out of that, and we'll go down to, we have all the products we could talk about, but we want to get into, so this is what we're talking about is light source energy around the red blood cells, white blood cells, even our plant itself through Carillion photography can show its life force energy. And
Wow.
then this is Mary Esther Gilbert,
Oh, awesome.
and it's very short, so.
As far as the very genetic instructions on how to repair things that our DNA uses, no other supplement in the world does this for us. So that's why the results are so immediate and the healing value is so immediate. Otherwise, we'd be going through the sluggish digestive system and just absorbing all of these nutrients. Sometimes nutritional supplements, vitamin mineral supplements, aren't as absorbable as foods can be because of they're not active. They don't contain the active enzymes or the viable cell compounds like the drops have. So the drops are viable, they're alive, they've got the enzymes that are active, that are the catalysts for every single biochemical reaction, every single cellular process that occurs in the body. Without enzymes, our bodies would just cease to exist. Nothing happens without viable enzymes. So the drops have that in there. And not only that, they contain the light energy frequencies. And that's another aspect that I'm starting to teach, because when you study the biophysics of it all, what's happening at the quantum energy, light energy frequency level, everybody's, on the internet is totally in a buzz over energy, right? And how our cells hold light energy. So these drops contain that light energy because they've been infused with the negatively charged ions in the vats when they are being stirred up. The elixirs being mixed up together, they're exposed to this simulated storm environment. They collect even more negatively charged particles than the plants already had in the first place. So, all of this is to the advantage of our bodies at the quantum energy level.
All right, and that was what I was able to screenshot out of there for us.
That is impressive.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to get these things. How many can I eat in a day and mix them up?
As many as you want. There's no side effects that are negative, other than you might see a few parasites show up in your bowel movement or something. It's
Perfect.
Perfect, right? That's not a negative.
So in the first video at the very end, it showed, organic, blah, 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 all the good stuff, right? But what's halal?
Halal is a more for like koshers for the Jewish faith. Halal is for another faith that a requirement in their dietary.
So it's treated a specific way, and it's given the reverence of what it's.
Yes, yeah, and all of that is done in that manufacturing facility, which it's. And all of this company, it is owned by a family. Like I said, the owner went to Italy and he received he paid for the technology, and the scientists were specifically working with Nikola Tesla's ion fields to infuse them into something that would be beneficial to us. And this is what they came about with, was the three components of the plant DNA, the negative ion infusion, and that 1 gram of pure simple chain glucose. They all three are needed to be as successful as they are in how our body receives them and communicates and repairs, restores.
Just stay there, it's fine.
And just so that it's and this gentleman has kept it in his family, and he owns all the fields, all the manufacturing sources, and then ships them out, and then every country has their own distribution center, and still managed by this family. But
that's so cool. So just because I'm nosy, where about in Italy is it located?
He never really told us where the scientists were, so I can't answer that question. I have not heard it. He tells us the story, but he's never specifically said. And so.
That's awesome. That's okay. I don't know of any place in Italy that's just terrible. I love Italy. It's a beautiful place. I think we should all go.
Yes. I know that he's got his coffee bean fields in Italy too. And he has an organic Pala kosher non-GMO coffee that's a freeze-dried that he loves. He won't go anywhere in the world without it, and it's finally in our back office, so we can enjoy that too.
Oh, good. I was going to ask. So where's that?
It's in your back office when you get it.
Instant coffee?
Instant, yes, instant.
Wow.
And it's really, really good. People don't even add creamers or sugar to it, and it is it's got a really robust flavor to it, they say.
So maybe we need to talk to the family about the glucose factor. So it's not
Yes.
cane sugar, it's not processed sugar, it's naturally occurring from an item that is required to be in this drop.
Mm-hmm.
And so is the color. If there's no color, then then there was somehow it just there wasn't enough of whatever it is to make a color, right? Um, so can you talk about the glucose and how that might function?
I can. And then remind me to talk about the labeling on the box, because that's another question that people will have, why it's labeled in different ways. So the simple chain glucose does not change the glucose index in our blood. So when people have to prick their finger and watch that index, it's this simple chain is not affecting that, because it's not even passing through the pancreas. It's going directly into the blood. The blood is using it as a direct source energy. And one of the specific uses for that is in the energy cycle of the ATP. ATP cycle has to occur in the mitochondria. And in order for that, and then the purpose of that ATP cycle is so that the mitochondria has the energy to reproduce itself by splitting apart and creating two halves. Those two halves are labeled in science as messenger RNAs. Then they have to go out and find another complete match that matches exactly with them to make a new cell or whole DNA strand and create the new cell. So let's go back now to the ATP cycle, now that we know what it does. To activate the ATP cycle, it needs two components. One is called the electron chain, transfer chain, and the other one's called glucose, pure glucose. And those two have to come together to activate the ATP cycle. So now we have these plant DNA that are infused with electrons. We've already discussed electrons neutralize the free radicals, protons, but here's another part of our body and how it requires electrons in an electron chain in this cycle. So we're just continually studying and learning, those of us that are curious in this company like myself, to figure out how these electrons are being used and how it all fits together in a symphony, you might say, an orchestration that our body can utilize, because our body has so much intelligence, and light itself, it's part of that orchestration of where things are going and what's happening and how we're doing it.
And that in itself, what you just explained and how that works and how that functions and hooking up and communicating, that is why we are all so sick, so tired, and so whatever else you can think of, because of all of the things that have been put upon us to disconnect those things.
Correct. They disrupt it energetically, chemically, physically. I mean,
and then store it in fat.
Well, yes, but I'm even talking physically. They cut and disrupt their, yes.
Flow.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Wow. That is brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
How long did it take the scientists to come up with this process?
I don't know. The owner, Sergei Kolikov, kind of got into it by accident. He's a young man. He's like 34 years old, and he is in one. So when the Eastern European bloc opened up, he got into a company that allowed him to spread the word on some other nutritional supplements and so forth, that he really became very wealthy, and then he diversed into other things that he was able to maintain that wealth with when the company fell apart that he was first introduced to. And so he had his own bucket full of income and property, and he would fly with friends, and one friend particularly would need some kind of Valium or something to put him out while he was on the plane, and that was the end of their conversation as soon as the airplane left the ground. Well, this friend one flight popped out these little lozenges, and took a couple, and he was up and talking and just carrying on, laughing, joking the whole flight. And Sergey said, "What was that?" And then that began the process. He went to the man's doctor. The doctor sent him to Italy to the scientists who were trying to get it out there. And so I have no idea how long it took the scientists, but that was early on in his life. He was in his early 20s.
Wow.
When that happened. So, and this company's 11 years old, or 12 years old, I should say. We're going to be celebrating their 13th year in November. So that's the time frame from the point of when he bought the patent and met the scientists is within that time frame. He took a couple. He moves really fast, so it probably was only a couple years to get the fields and the manufacturing and everything in place. He has that kind of intensity about himself and intuition. The company was started on November 11th at 11 o'clock on 2011. So if that doesn't tell you something about him, I don't know. He does pay attention to the universe and what's going on too.
That's very cool.
It is cool.
That speaks a lot to me.
Yeah, did me too. And he celebrates it. It's a big celebration every year, November 11th, 11 o'clock, 2011.
That reminds me so much of Mr. T, Papa Trump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's a pretty in tune, incredible person. Yeah.
That is awesome. He sounds very intuitive. When he knows where his heart is going, he doesn't hesitate. He knows that this needs full steam ahead for this period of time, get this set up, and then I could set it, let it run, and then I could do a few things over here, come back, see where we're at, doot. Oh, this guy's brilliant. I'm going to have to meet him.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of also of angel numbers, and we all see the resonant of the numbers that keep popping up, the 111, the 1111, that kind of stuff. So we look for that and see that when that's happening, we're going in the right direction. So
Absolutely.
What is this saying about the 1111 in 2011, another 11? I mean, that just speaks to me.
Yes.
Yeah, this morning I was walking, I was doing stuff for Mom and Dad. You and I were getting ready to talk, Kathleen, and I looked at the clock real quick. Now, mind you, I hadn't looked at the clock all morning. It was 11:11. I'm like, Of course it is. Of course it is.
Of course. Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'm sorry I interrupted you.
Oh, I just think that he also, understands the function of numerology in his life and things like that too. And he's a man who wants people to receive. He developed the compensation plan in a very unique way. He has 11 ways you get paid. There's number 11 again. And he wants people to be healthy, as the health that they should have in every way that they can. But he also wants them to have abundance in their income and wealth. And he set up this program on the compensation plan to pay out as much as 63% on a dollar. And who does that? And he's still making money and wealthy and opening up new countries. And he owns everything. So he believes in abundance. He believes in receiving, and he totally believes in giving back.
So,
and he does.
Which countries are the Apple Go products available in?
So there's a lot of Eastern countries, European countries. There's some Scandinavian countries. South Africa is going really well. Nigeria's developing. We had Australia and New Zealand, but it got shut down with some distribution problems. So it's opening up again in 2024. There's Peru. There's several like Costa Rica, Ecuador, Colombia, of course, Mexico. Brazil's a little harder to get in. Canada's been open as long as U.S. part of America. They went into the Philippines. That's been growing. Vietnam kind of opened themselves. So they're functioning. And then that's all basically in Asia right now. But they're progressing. It's progressing, and people that do have enough income and wealth can go in and open a country and create their own distribution center if they want to take on that responsibility. He's not opposed to that. He's not. He has his structure, but he allows freedom for people to grow too. So it's interesting.
Very cool.
Where is the distribution center in the United States? Just being nosy.
Yeah, it's in Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia. I should say just outside of Atlanta, Georgia.
Not Utah, huh?
Well, they
like
tried one in Utah. That's right, they did.
So many companies are in Utah.
But yeah, it fell apart. So Atlanta, Georgia's the only one now. They tried to get it on the West Coast, but it didn't quite work.
Wow.
Wow.
That's fascinating. I'm super excited by this.
That is.
Because I can give this to my dad. I can give this to my mom.
Oh, they're
I can
gonna
give
love it.
to my husband.
Yeah, and for babies and things like that, they've put them in those little netted suckers that they can suck on, but you can shake it and dilute it really quickly into a small amount of water. And even though it's drinking and part of it will get down into the gut, it's also very absorbable in the mouth that way, and then absorbable through the rest of the digestive system. For animals, I saw a dog come out of a seizure by doing that. We took brain and MLS and put it together and shook it up in just a small amount of water in a glass jar and put it in his dog dish. And literally I saw those dilated pupils that had covered his whole iris come down to the normal size and the iris color to come back.
Wow.
Within a minute of him finishing the last part of his water. It was incredible. That's how fast acting it was.
That's amazing.
So animals can take it also in their water that way.
We love our animals.
Mm-hmm.
I know we do. So I know we haven't gotten into any real specifics, and you and I did earlier, but we should probably do a second one and get into the specifics, right? Some different things that people have used this for that might be unique or unfortunately normal standard. I'm wondering, does this help with, have you ever heard of this helping with vision?
It does, but again, a vision is something that has many components to it.
Right.
Like the heart will give off its histamines, and that will be toxic to the environment. And in one of my studies with another nutritional company, those histamines can gather up into the area and the inflammation of the eye and cause eye vision difficulties. And so, eye vision can happen because body stress, the extra cortisol, the adrenal thyroid complex. So you kind of have to weave your way into this, but yes, eye can be helped. We have BTY, we have GRW, we have the Women and Men's Power for the adrenal thyroid complex. So yes, and
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I'm super excited.
Yes, yeah, and this is like more about not so-called a medical diagnosis, but more about how your body's working, the symptoms that you're having, and how did those symptoms get there. So you kind of look at the whole person and ask the questions, and then sometimes they work just like we have 3 lozenges that work. We call them our the pain magic, the magic of letting go of the pain. And that combination has helped people with different types of diagnoses and plantar fasciitis or torn meniscus and the arthritic conditions and so forth. And
neuropathy,
possibly because of the inflammation.
Right.
The trick with these is taking more than less. So if you have chronic pain or pain that's been with you for a while, you may be taking like those 3 4 times a day. But in a month, you might be taking those 3 times a day.
Okay.
Because we're doing this repair, regeneration, and restoring function. So just keep that in mind. Then we're not on these. These are not something we take forever, unless we have something that needs it for a longer period of time.
I love that
We
because
get
everything
bombarded
else
with
is
new
done
stuff.
forever.
Yeah, or we get bombarded with new stuff and we come back and cycle around and do another set of repair, restore, and regeneration.
Right. Oh, that's awesome. That is very exciting to me.
It is very exciting.
Yeah, the only thing I ever had that with was the Chinese teas that you have to boil for 3 hours. Your whole house stinks. The stuff tastes so bad. I am telling you, you take 1 ounce 3 times a day, and it was like, oh my God, like, oh my God, that was the worst stuff.
Yeah.
It worked, but you just couldn't manage to get it in there.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm super excited.
It is exciting because these are truly, when people say, what do you do for a living? And we say, well, I sell or I help people, I share Candi nutrition, I'm giving out free samples. Would you like the taste, and you can taste it, but
That is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So when you tell people that you give out Candi nutrition, do you ask them, what do you got going on, or do you just give them an energy one? What do you want to feel like right now?
Grape is in the grow. Everybody can use a boost to their immune system, and you can overhear people come, with conversations. You can always ask. They'll ask you, how are you doing? What are you doing? And you can say, well, what you say, but the thing is, it's just listening, right? The main thing is listening and how people are talking about what's going on in their life. Even they may not even share how they feel, but what's going on. If someone's got chaos going on, well, where's that chaos coming from? Is it cloudy thinking or something in the body bothering them? And just pay attention, and then.
What if it's the other room?
Pardon?
What if the chaos is coming from another room?
Take some relax, RLX.
So tell me, has
you
anybody
mean
ever,
energy-wise?
has anybody ever reversed their gray hair with any of this? Any kind of reports of that?
What does that look like? Does that look gray anymore?
Well, it still looks gray, but it looks like it's dark gray up at the top. So is it getting darker?
Yes, up there it is, but as it's usually in the back, your back of your hair will start coming in more of a natural color. That's not gray anymore.
Yeah.
That's gone from black to an auburn, ash brown or blonde.
Oh, I like that. It's ash blonde.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so all about that.
Yeah. So
That's
yes,
awesome.
It's changed. I've always wanted to be very white, but it's not going to happen because I take too many nutrients.
Well, what's so strange is my hair was naturally very, very dark, and I straightened my bangs because it's very curly. It's curlier than your hair is right now.
Mm-hmm.
And people see me and they're like, "Oh, you're all gray," and I'm like, "Shit, I've been all gray for the last 20 years. I just been dyeing it every 2 weeks. Otherwise, I look like a skunk." So I just finally I cut it all off and let it grow out. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm so in for anything that will help darken my hair.
Well, when I was teaching, I did get sick along with a lot of other children and parents going around with that in 2019 and 2021. And I got so that I did have my hair falling out, the alopecia effect.
Oh, wow.
And but luckily I had these lozenges for a year, and we have one called BTY Beauty, and it is designed to build nail skin. It has Mary Esther talks about the enzymes and the catalysts, so it has that for collagen properties. And my hair started growing back, fuller, thicker. That's part of the change of the color. Nails are stronger. My face is better. The skin, we've had tags fall off of our arms, our skin changing.
What about ridges in the nails? Those
they go away. Yeah, mine went away.
Oh.
I've had to take it for a while, and I'm very consistent with it. But yeah, they start to all go away, and that's one of them that can help with the eyesight and so forth. And Grow is the other one. GRW is the other one that will help.
GRW?
Mm-hmm. And BTY.
Okay,
But
good.
again, I would also look and see, how you feel about thyroid, adrenal stress, and complex, so that's,
Hashimoto's,
oh, yes, correct. Yes,
right,
that's right.
right. So
Yeah.
that went on. That is
hmm
so fascinating. I am super excited. When
Yes.
Candy had told me about these some time ago, we really, had a lot of other things that we were talking about at the time.
hmm
I'm super excited Candy introduced me back into these.
Yes, absolutely. They are truly amazing, and they really do the job. As my background has shown, I've shared with you that every time there was a need, the Spirit brought. Every time there was a desire, I received. So this is one of those things that was to me sent for the in that way, and for my purposes of sharing and bringing people greater light and understanding health and abundance.
So is this something that possibly you might say for yourself
hmm
in a way helped you on a more spiritual path by, okay,
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And it's happened before, like I said, when we changed our way of life, living, eating, thinking pattern, and my husband's cells structure changed, and my daughter's other patterns also changed. That we were on a path that brought this kind of light into our existence. And yes, when you feed the body this way, your whole energy self, your receptiveness to joy, to light, to compassion, to all of those words that we think are just emotion words. And remember, emotion is energy in motion. They are powerful. You stop thinking and analyzing from the frontal cortexes of the brain, and you start speaking and listening and feeling the language of the heart. And there is a language there. And I have learned to listen and hear the words of the heart. And it's incredible. It's an incredible existence.
that's
And
beautiful.
so, yes, I believe sincerely I've been on that path, but this has only expanded that path.
I
Yes.
love
hmm
Well,
Yeah.
we have been on for over an hour, and it's been wonderful. Kathleen, you have done such a great job at answering questions and bringing the information. Um, is there any burning questions that need to be answered before we sign off for the evening?
Nothing came in the chat, but
No, I mean, Kathleen, if you have something that you would like to everybody to know in closing, that would be awesome.
well, in closing, from my heart to your heart, I want us all to grow in that light and the compassion. Compassion is something I've learned in a different way from Greg Braden when he went into the Tibetan mountains and met the monks who are 200, 300, 600 years old. He sat with them and he said, "Why and how have you been able to live this long?" And he shares the experience that the one he asked sat there for quite a while in thought, contemplation, but silence. And the only thing he had to say in response to Greg Braden was the word compassion.
That's beautiful.
And as he watched and learned from them, he realized that that word meant to live a life without any judgment, to live a life without any preconceived expectations or outcomes. In other words, be able to be centered in yourself and not even be judgmental of yourself and not have those expectations and those judgments and those guilts and criticisms. And when you can sit in that kind of place, that is compassion.
That
And
means a lot.
and that gave them their longevity of life.
That's beautiful.
hmm
Thank you for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you for letting me share and learn and meet you all. So thank you.
All right. So, you want to do that?
You both look so beautiful.
And
In
you
your
do.
blue. Thank you. You're in your blue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Do it.
Probably not going to want to hear this, but I'm going to say it anyway. Always go with the choice that scares you the most, because it's the choice that's going to help you grow.
Wow.
I can't do negative today. Positive vibes.
Hey, best friend. Wait. To the person seeing this, I know you're tired. I know you're fed up and so close to breaking. But remember, you have strength within you even when you feel weak. Keep fighting, best friend.